Good idea. Moving around and keep you on your toes. Yeah, right. Or get in an ad bot, I gotta start walking around. Houston! There he is.
Awesome.
I did get the other one. Appreciate it. Yeah, I forgot to look at it.
I know you're all there. President.
What's in
the air?
I'll get the other one off later.
I don't know.
That's good.
Hey Lambert, how are you doing? Time is 7:01. I call this session the Whitewater Student Government to order. If you're able, please rise one time. Recite the pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
With that, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Bolt,
Present.
Senator Carter,
President.
Senator Early,
Present.
Senator Epstein,
Present.
Senator Gross,
Present.
Senator Doswell,
Here.
Senator Houston,
Present.
Senator Calvin,
Present.
Senator Fiedler,
President.
Senator Michael,
Present.
Senator Patricius,
Present.
Senator Punzel,
Present.
Senator Purnell,
Present.
Senator Rayburg,
Present.
Senator Schmidt,
Present.
Senator Wheaton, Speaker Wilson.
Present. With that, we'll move in a special order, starting with the appointment of 2 ESCR district seats. Is there anyone in the gallery tonight interested in running for an ESCR district seat? And once? And twice? Seeing none, with that, we'll move to the appointment of 1 Drumlin district seat. Is there anyone in the gallery tonight interested in running for a Drumlin district? And once? And twice? Seeing none, with that, we'll move to the appointment of 2 off-campus district seats. Is there anyone in the gallery tonight interested in running for an off-campus district? Wonderful. If you could, please walk out in the front of the room. You can go this way. You go this way. Like behind the vice president?
Oh.
And just recite your name.
You can cut across. There's
We got a
room here.
little opening.
As long as there's enough room.
Yeah, I think you can get.
Trent, what's your last
Right there.
name, sir? Lambert.
Lambert.
Perfect.
Could you spell that so the vice president has it right on screen?
Sure.
Off campus.
Let's see. LAM.
What is that?
Perfect.
Awesome. First try.
Awesome. Nice work.
Alrighty, wonderful. Well, you'll have 3 minutes to tell us a little bit about yourself and why you want to be the next senator of the Whitewater Student Government. So, name, major, and why you want to be on our senate.
Okay.
Trenton, the floor is yours.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Trenton Lambert. My pronouns are he, him. My major is media arts and game development in the communication gaming emphasis, and my minor is in film studies. I think the reason I wanted to run for WSG senator is because I started out at the Rock County campus as one of the senators of the Student Government Association over there, and now I've transferred here to the main campus, and since I have experience in student government in general, I figured why not take this plunge as soon as I possibly could, and I gave myself some good thought, gave myself enough thought, and well, that's that. So here I am now.
Wonderful. With that, we'll move into a couple questions. Any questions? Senator Puzzle?
You mentioned you were a Rock County senator. What skills did you have over there that you can translate over here? And more importantly, what do you bring to the table?
I think to the table I would bring encouragement, hope, and just growth and communication within the student body.
Senator Cobb?
You said you were media arts and game development. What perspectives do you think you could bring to the student body that may not already be expressed here?
Well, since I'm in the communication gaming emphasis for that major, I think what I'd be doing is I'd be telling a group of team members, suppose I were to create a video game, I'd be communicating with team members about how I want the game to be like, that sort of thing. But does that answer your question?
I was wondering how your experiences in that sort of communications development, how you could bring, what you could bring to the Senate with your emphasis on communication, potentially skills that might be underrepresented in the current body.
Well, I made this thing saying that if I was senator of the Student Government Association at Rock, that I would actually listen to students' concerns and things like that, and I would be like, okay, I'll do my best to get those solved as soon as I possibly can.
Senator Gross?
Alright, I'll keep my question pretty short. I know we've talked in the past about different things you'd love to bring on campus. I'm curious if you'd be willing to share one of those changes you'd like to make.
Ooh, that's a really good question. I think what there should be is like a PS5 in
The Down Under?
down under right by the Warhawk Alley, because then there'd be more games for students to play. I was thinking maybe there'd be like Gran Turismo 7 and Astrobot.
Any other questions? Senator Houston? All right,
If you could be any tool in the toolbox, what tool would you be?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I'd probably be a screwdriver.
Any other questions? Senator Puzzle?
You mentioned you'd be a screwdriver if you were a tool in toolbox. Can you care to elaborate on that? Explain why you'd be a screwdriver?
Because let me think of it this way. A student's concern would be like a nail. Yeah, and if I was a screwdriver, I'd be as quick as I possibly could to screw the nail on there and tighten that screw.
All right. Any other questions? Once or twice? Seeing none, with that, we'll move into a roll call vote. If you could, the name on the screen is correct. We only got one candidate running, so a vote of aye or nay. A vote of aye will be a vote in favor. A vote of nay will be a vote against.
In the gallery, thank you very much. Well done.
Could you please call the roll?
Senator Wolf,
Aye.
Senator Carter,
Aye.
Senator Irwin,
Aye.
Senator Esterholm,
Aye.
Senator Gross,
Aye.
Senator Gutslaw,
Aye.
Senator Houston,
Aye.
Senator Kelvin,
Aye.
Senator Keebler,
Aye.
Senator Michael,
Aye.
Senator Patricus,
Aye.
Senator Punzel,
Nay.
Senator Purnell,
Aye.
Senator Reber,
Aye.
Senator Schmidt,
Aye.
Speaker Wilson.
Aye. And with that, the vote of a vote of 14-1. Trenton Lambert, congratulations. You've been appointed as Senator of Whitewater Student Government. Wonderful. And if you could, please see me after the meeting today. With that, we'll move on to the appointment of 2 Rock County District seats. Is there anyone in the gallery tonight interested in running for a Rock County district? Going once? Going twice? Seeing none, with that, we'll move to the appointment of 3 at-large district seats. Is there anyone in the gallery tonight interested in running for an at-large district seat? Going once? Going twice? Seeing none, wonderful. With that, we'll move into guest speakers, of which we have none, then on to the approval of the agenda and minutes. Starting with minutes from March 10th, 2025. Can I get a motion to approve? Senator Carter?
Motion approved.
Can I get a second? Second by Senator Puzzle. Can I get a voice vote?
Acclamation.
Wonderful. Any opposed? Seeing none, the minutes from March 10th have been approved. that will move on to the agenda for March 17th, 2025. Can I get a motion to approve? Senator Carter.
Motion to add, EC and student affairs to internal committee reports. And then to cross out 06 of 37th Senate to 07.
Wonderful. Can I get a second? By Senator Houston. Can I get a voice vote?
Acclamation.
Wonderful. Any opposed? Going once, twice, seeing none. The amendment has passed. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda from March 17th? Senator Bolt.
Motion to approve.
Second by Senator Gross.
Second.
Can I get a voice vote?
Acclamation.
Any opposed? Going once, twice, seeing none. The agenda for March 17th, 2025 has been approved unanimously. With that, we'll move on to student issues and concerns. Today, anyone in the gallery will be allotted 3 minutes to speak uninterrupted about any topic not on the agenda. Is there anyone in the gallery that is interested in speaking in student issues and concerns? Going once? Going twice? Seeing none. Wonderful. With that, we'll move into reports, starting with external committee reports. That will be the Chancellor's Committee on LGBTQIA+ Inclusive Excellence. Senator Bolt, you have the floor.
Working? Yep. Good evening, everyone. The Chancellor's Committee on LGBTQI+ Inclusive Excellence met this past Wednesday. There was discussion about how to gather metrics needed to really push for some change on campus and what those current options are. They're still looking for adequate ones, as the campus climate survey is already starting to become a smidge outdated. The webpage for the committee is currently outdated, so we are going to be adding the mission of the committee. It's going to take its place to give more transparency, as well as just remove general old information. The contact information about the members of the committee will also be added, such as names and how to contact them respectively, as well as the related links section will be more associated with the committee itself and what we do on campus. Finally, there is an award called the PB Foreman Award. This actually shares a name with our own Pride Center here on campus, in the Warhawk Connection Center, so our neighbors. People who make up the UW staff, faculty, students, and community members who fit certain criteria listed on the webpage are eligible for said award. The committee is currently having discussions to promote that award on the student and staff level. And with that, I yield.
Any questions for Senator Bolt? Going once? Going twice? Seeing none. Thank you very much, Senator Bolt. Wonderful. With that, we will move on to internal committee reports, starting with EEC. Senator Gross, you have the floor.
Good evening, everyone. So last week we had a lot of tabling happening in the UC. I saw a couple of you all. And in total, we had 370 interactions with individual students. So yeah. This week we're running the upcoming election again. There's going to be tabling Monday, so today through Thursday, and also some shopping as well. Looking into March, early in-person voting starts tomorrow. So we're hopefully going to be having reels with WSG PR director promoting early in-person voting. The 25th of March is the USPS recommended date for a mail-in ballot to mail it in. So if you're planning on doing that, make sure to do that. And then the 29th is the last day to vote vote early. And then we have to vote day of. And then for April, obviously, there's an election happening in April. I'm going to be saying that nearly every single week, so get ready for that. And then also Sexual Assault Awareness Month is in April, so there's a couple meetings. Director of Intergovernmental Affairs has a couple meetings with, I believe it's covered in the report. And with that, I do.
Well, any questions for Senator Gross? Once? Twice? See none? Senator Gross?
Yeah, what awareness month? I just didn't catch it.
Sexual Assault Awareness Month.
Wonderful. Any other questions? Going once? Twice? See none? Thank you very much, Senators. With that, we will move into our next internal committee report. Committee report on student affairs. Senator Carter? You have the floor.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
Hello, folks. First off, happy St. Patrick's Day. The Internal Student Affairs Committee met this Friday. Here's a summary of what was covered. First off, in dining, some students from off campus had some concerns about there not being in-person / cash options for the dub, rather than being forced to pre-order on the mobile app. They missed the convenience of walking in, paying at a register, and buying food on the spot. For the people that are new or haven't heard, last year there was an option where you could just go down to what's now called the Dub and wait in lines, pay cash, and everything. And to those concerns, dining said the Dub is mobile order only. Students can link a credit debit card to the dining app to purchase food. There's no immediate plan to return a physical cashier, but dining has not ruled out exploring a kiosk in the future. There has been few food poisoning and illness concerns, and our answer to that is food poisoning is long-lasting. So say, for instance, you go to Drumlin, you eat food, and then 3 minutes or 2 hours later, you get sick. That's what we like to call drummy tummy. But if it's like, oh, you ate there and then 3 days later you got sick, that's food poisoning. And if that happens, please let Director Balistreri, Assistant Director Khan, or someone at dining know about that immediately, so that way they can take care of that. Another concern is that many new / transfer students are confused about meal plans, portion size, and how to submit feedback. I have with me today, which I'll pass out later, is the survey for dining. That survey, highly recommend everyone take it, and we'll give them some more feedback on that. So the feedback kiosks have been laggy to type on, so they're addressing that as well. Also, the menus have been inaccurate on the website. They're looking into that and fixing that. Going on to housing, the Lee Hall elevator, report of past elevator malfunctions. If the malfunctions do occur, they must be reported so housing can address them properly. So please, if you live in Lee, talk to your RA or talk to your CD or ACD so that they can know about that. No major or archaic issues have been documented recently. Benson Hall ramp accessibility concerns. Someone an exterior ramp for wheelchair or limited mobility access. Answer: housing understands the need, but Benson is one of the 3 buildings on campus that doesn't have an elevator. So if students have accessibility or need accessibility, they would be put in another resident hall, so that way housing can meet their needs and that. And students with who needs those can request it intentionally. If you have any more questions or concerns, please see Director Balistreri or Associate Director Khan. With that, Mr. Speaker, I yield.
Are there any questions? Senator Cow?
Just to clarify the committee's position on food poisoning, the committee believes it's currently not a large issue? Is that?
No. Director Balistreri.
We didn't say that food poisoning wasn't an issue in general, but we were just trying to highlight the fact that some people were connecting having an immediate reaction to food, meaning that that's food poisoning, whereas food poisoning is more like a long-term effect. So.
Senator Cow?
And then was there any timelines proposed for fixes to the menu? I mean, if there wasn't, that's fine, but if there was any timelines for when the menu will be more accurate or when things will be done?
I don't believe there was any timeline. I believe that dining is looking into what's causing the bugs of that issue and I can yield to any of the two directors if they know.
Yeah, there was no timeline, just ASAP.
Wonderful. Any other questions? We generally don't take questions from the gallery, but luckily enough, you'll be here soon. We'll see you afternoon. With that, any other questions? Going once?
Never.
Going twice? Seeing none. We will now move into officer reports. Starting with the report for student body president. Senator Brad.
A couple directors have some other events going on this evening, so we're going to keep it brief. All I'm going to say is State of the University address tomorrow at 10 a.m. In the Hamilton room, so please attend if you can. I imagine they're going to talk a lot about shared governance, and with that, I'm going to yield to my report.
Any questions for the president? Alderman Curry.
Will there be any ways to view it other than in person?
I believe so. I'm not sure what those are.
Alright, thank you.
I think in the past they've recorded it and posted it long form somewhere. They do that with commencement and other more large university speeches. Senator Gussoff.
You said 10, correct?
10 a.m.
Any other questions? Senator Cobb.
What's the expected runtime of that, just if we want to attend and we have other things?
I think it's scheduled for an hour and a half.
Any other questions? Going once? Going twice? Seeing none. With that, we'll move to the report of our vice president. Pardon me.
Awesome. Everyone should have received a lovely email approximately 8 minutes ago regarding the instructor awards. Everybody could please fill that out. That would be greatly appreciated. Share with a friend. I'm sure we all have a lovely professor that we can't get enough of. So with that, I will also yield to my report. I'm also reminded to leave your placards again today.
Any questions for the vice president? Going once? Going twice? Seeing none. With that, we'll move on to the report of our WSG guy, Jane Bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you to one and all that either planned or participated in the retreat on Friday. Appreciated your attendance and participation, so thank you. Also, you all should have received and perhaps read about the death of one of our own. And wanted to make sure that you know, so yourselves and others can know that there are resources that will be in the Serenity space, which is adjacent to the WCC. Tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday, of course, all the UHCS resources are available as well. But in case you're wanting to remember Lauren or Ray, as some of folks knew them, there are ways to do that. There'll be a ribbon making opportunity that you can make a ribbon for families to ask folks to wear green and purple. You could choose to wear that whenever you're remembering her on Wednesday, as our US flag will fly at half staff in her memory. Or you could wear it on the day that the family has planned their memorial service. So if you'd like to do that, come on into the Serenity space. There'll also be an electronic condolence card if anyone would like to sign it. There'll be a QR code available in the WCC desk and in the Serenity space. And with that, I would just say to you, as someone who has had cancer on their face 4 times, please wear sunscreen if you're going someplace where the sun is out for spring break. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I will yield to questions.
Any
Sorry, I
questions?
couldn't yield sooner.
Any questions? Going once? Going twice? Seeing none. Wonderful. With that, we'll move on to equal reports. Start the report. President Bradley.
Just for folks who are newer or haven't heard yield yet, when we yield a report, that doesn't mean to disregard it or whatnot. Please make sure you read through those. We did fill them out. They do have some very important information. We're just trying to be courteous for time. So please read through any reports, anybody who yields tonight.
My bad. I was supposed to.
With that, we'll move on to equal reports. Start with the report for Director of Academic Affairs, Andrew Rock.
Hi everyone, I'm going to second what Vice President Bain said. Please fill out that survey about instructor awards. Those are on Tuesday, April 29th at 4 p.m. Currently, we have about 150 responses. I can only fill it out like as many times. You can actually fill it out many times, but so I kind of need help. But the goal is to get like 300, 350. So we got a ways to go to get there. So please do that. Also, Academic Affairs Committee, please come see me after this meeting. With that, I yield to my report.
Wonderful. Are there any questions for Director Reiser? I have one. Is there a deadline for that?
Yes, it closes this Friday at midnight. The survey. Yep.
Any other questions? Once, going twice, seeing none. With that, we move to the report of our Director of Student Affairs, Joe Mustard.
Hello, everybody. Happy 8th week. Good luck with any exams or assignments you'll have today or this week. And enjoy your spring break. You deserve it. You earned it. With that, I'm going to yield to the rest of my report.
Wonderful. Any questions for Director Mustard? Once, twice. Seeing none. With that, we'll move into the report of our Associate Director of Student Affairs, Dave Kemp.
Yeah, happy week. I apologize for not submitting a report, but I'll make it short. Last week I met with the Sustainability Committee and talked to them about their 2.0 waste program and how they want to reduce the food waste that we have on campus, as well as we got the reporting forms right on the front page of Connect 2. So if you could let peers know anything, if anybody has any issue, right on the front page of Connect 2, there's a little box that says, if you have a concern, report it. So it's right there. This next week I will have some more meetings. And that'll be all. I yield.
Wonderful. Are there any questions for Director Khan? I have one. Is it in the quick links in Connect 2, or is it like a, if you could, that would be amazing. Just for trying to pull it up.
I can show you right after this meeting too.
I think you can pull it up.
Yeah, it's on the quick links.
Quick links?
It's like this. On the lower left-hand corner.
Hamburger. Have a good start.
Boom, right there. Might I say, wonderful job, Director Khan. Wonderful job. With that, any other questions? Once, twice, seeing none. With that, we'll move to the report of our Director of Government Affairs. One sec.
Howdy y'all, I'll try to keep this brief. Didn't realize how long my report was, my bad. First things first, as you heard, the EEC will be tabling and chalking for the election this week. Senator availability suddenly changed yesterday, so I have some gaps for tabling that I need help filling. I'm going to pass around this lovely clipboard that I made earlier today. The parts highlighted in orange are the spots that need to be filled, but if there's any other empty spots that you'd like to fill, please feel free to do so while I pass that around. The important dates about the election are the 18th, which is tomorrow. Early in-person voting begins, so you can vote at the municipal office here in town if you're planning to vote in Whitewater. If you are getting an absentee ballot, USPS recommends that you mail that back to your municipal office no later than the 25th, which is a week from tomorrow. And April 1st is the election day. If you need anything at all otherwise, my cell is at the end of my report. Otherwise, I end my report. Thank you.
Wonderful. Any questions for Director Smith? Senator Keelan?
Two quick ones. What is chalking, and does tabling count as an office hour?
For office hour requirements, I'll yield to the deputy speaker.
Sure.
Yes. Chalking is like, as it's taking sidewalk chalk out, I have like scripted lines that are pretty flexible that you're able to chalk with. There's like guidelines. I have like a whole document for anyone who signs up for it.
Any other questions? Once, twice, seeing none, with that, we'll move to the report of our Director of Communications, page 1.
Good evening, all. Sorry for not submitting my report, but this week in going into spring break, I'm going to be prioritizing my time into a WSG TikTok account and content, and with that, I yield.
Any questions? Once, twice, seeing none, with that, we'll move to the report of our WSG clerk, Steve West.
Hey y'all, I just want to touch on the elections committee. We met right before this meeting. We went over General Section 11.4.2 and 11.4E, and the elections committee kind of decided what they believe those sections mean, and decided that validation means 10% of signatures overall, so the whole 200. And from that, we confirm that our two slates on the ballot will be Douglas Bradley and Parker Bain and Orange Smith and Nick Pickett. And with that, I yield to the rest of it.
Any questions? And once, and twice. Seeing none, with that, we move to the report of our Senate parliamentarian. Laker?
Good evening, all. Very brief report. Most of my activities last week involved all of you. The top one was either committees or the Senate retreat, which was a great deal of fun for those unlucky few of you who couldn't be there. A reminder, if you have any questions about parliamentary procedure or anything else covered in the Senate retreat, feel free to ask me. And then a reminder that your next outreach event is due April 13th. So you'll have a little while after we come back from spring break to finish it if you don't get it done this week. And with that, I yield to my report.
Any questions? Parliamentarian on? Going once, going twice. How are you continuing to monitor outreach events? Just like in terms of if there are any changes or senator input, or to work on that, or?
There are currently no changes now.
Perfect, thank you. Any other questions, Senator Knopf?
Is the QR code the same as it was previously?
Yes. Wait. Which, do you mean the same as the most recent iteration or the same as the first one you were given?
The most recent.
Yes, it's the same as the most recent iteration.
Any other questions? And once, and twice, seeing none, with that, we'll move to the report of our deputy speaker.
Happy Monday. If you're absent for the retreat, I will reach out to schedule an alternate time, just to kind of fill you in on everything we covered. Melt season again, so we got a couple meetings coming up soon here. I sent out unexcused absences today, so if you received one and have questions, or want to chat with me, see me after or send me an email. Reminder to just complete your office hours. Filling out the form is the only way those are counted. Tabling costs is office hours, so if you're curious on how that works or what that looks like, talk to me. State of the University tomorrow, if you go to that, you can fill out the form, let me know you went. I'll give you an office hour for it. And if you table for EEC for Warhawk, so also an office hour. With that, I yield.
Any questions for Deputy Speaker Patrice? Going once, going twice, seeing none. With that, we are on to my report. Last week, I had a student lunch as we are on the search for the new director of the global education position. I did a bunch of Senate retreat planning, and then we were lucky enough to get to show it. I have a little bit more on the Senate retreat at the end of this. I tabled a little bit for EEC this week. I will be doing some NULT stuff, as Deputy Speaker Patrice mentioned, and have cabinet as always. However, I did want to mention that for those of you who are either at the Senate retreat or not at the Senate retreat, we mentioned a lot of materials. If you want a physical version of any of those things, they're down in the WSG office, particularly the steps to writing legislation. They're big, bright, and yellow, and kind of the filing right under the middle cabinet there. So if you take a look under there, that yellow sheet walks you through all of those steps, all the way from research to passage or the floor of the Senate. If you have any questions about anything that went on at the retreat, please come and chat with me or any relevant member of Senate leadership. Otherwise, any questions for myself? Going once, going twice, seeing none. With that, we will move into unfinished business, of which we have none, and then on to new business, with our item A. Item A, constitutional amendment referendum question. Deputy Speaker Patrice, you have the floor.
So we as a body have an opportunity to amend our governing document, right? We've seen standing rules changes a couple times this semester, or proposed, I should say. This is the same thing with the Constitution. Now this is a very different process, as the Constitution is voted on by the entire student body. So how this were to happen is you will all vote on the exact question. Find it right here. And then this is the question that will be on the ballot in April. So it needs to pass by a 4/5 majority of the Senate, and then it goes to the student body. The student body has to pass it by 2/3 majority of students vote. So CRC looked at 4 questions. It passed, all 4 passed CRC unanimously, or without much dissent. So just for some context there, we met over a week ago, and the committee had about a week and a half to look at these. So first one is referencing the clerk here. So you can see the current, what it currently reads, what Article 3, Section 3 currently reads, right? And then you have what CRC voted on to change it to. So yellow is highlight, strike through is remove. First comment here is just a clerical, really, to make the sentence make sense. Clerks can resign, believe it or not. We saw that last semester, so do that. And then rather than having a temporary WSG clerk, you just have the deputy speaker fulfill the responsibilities. And if the clerk is temporarily absent or unavailable from Senate meetings due to illness, extenuating circumstances, or other situations, which has happened very recently, it was actually after these were proposed, but minutes still need to be taken. So the presidential line of succession is in the Constitution. I don't believe the speaker one is, but just for consistency, I wanted to stick it in the Constitution. So this lays out an order. So it's vice president, every member of the executive board, president, deputy speaker, and then parliamentarian. And then I did not touch C, or we did not touch C. So this is how that's worded. Basically, it's should this become this? Should this be added? And then should this change from B to C? But it fills in all of the texts just for kind of context. Do you have any questions on this one?
Any questions? Senator Russell?
So typically our articles, like when they have questions like on the ballot, are they just like clumped together like all in one question, or can articles be split up into like 2 separate questions?
In the past, I'm sorry. In the past, they've been separate unless they're specifically related and connected through the portion of the Constitution that is revised.
Okay.
Right, so these 4 would, for the most part, be separate.
Sorry, can I like clarify?
Sure.
So like, okay.
Typically been.
Like if you were to like have a question about part A and part B, could you have 2 questions, one about part A, one about part B, or no?
Good question.
We could. I think it just becomes how many questions, maybe question fatigue. If we split every single one of these into parts, is that too many? That's a long question, but that's kind of the nature of these things. If you recall, I think we're very fortunate that we had both the school board and the city come in about referenda they're having, and they filled an entire slide with their questions. So this is not too dissimilar to that. It's unfortunate that it has to be this long, but to provide the context of, I guess, the voters, I think it has to be. Okay, we'll move on to the second question here, which is about committees, Article 4 here. This is what it currently reads. Standing committees of the WSG, their composition and their functions will be specified in the standing rules of the WSG. What is a standing committee? So I want to define it. So it's all committees of a permanent nature that operate continuously with a stated goal or objectives are considered standing committees. We also have special committees. We have temporary committees created to address a specific task, issue, or project and are disbanded on the completion of a designated goal, with members external to WSG, and then special committees may become standing. So an example would be of a standing committee.
election engagement.
Extra chance committee and success.
You want an internal one? An extra?
Chancellor's Committee on Disability Affairs is a standing committee. A special committee could be like an RFP or like a search and screening or like a award selection committee. There's a special, and then as we saw with the Chancellor's Committee on Student Success, it started as a special committee and it became a standing committee. So this just defines what those are. Questions on this one?
Just very, very briefly, this would just make it so that they're all, actually, never mind. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. I do apologize.
This is a very small thing. What is the reason for removing the for WSG? Because even then, we see it a lot within the Constitution, and it just feels like a little bit without continuity.
I think it's just a clerical thing in my opinion. When it is used as the WSG, it's in reference to the Whitewater Student Government, right? But
The timing of it.
yeah, I mean it's a WSG. I think it just sounds, it flows better if it's of WSG rather than of the WSG.
I don't disagree that it sounds better, but I mean, even in the exact wording, or the exact question wording, it says the WSG Constitution. Again, semantics perhaps, but for just the continuity's sake, I still feel like that it just would flow a lot better. I mean, just all around consistent use of the WSG to really just make it better continuity.
Are you referencing right here of the WSG Constitution? I think it sounds better of the WSG Constitution rather than of WSG Constitution. I guess.
Two things, I would read the rest of the Constitution and see if it includes the law in that manner or not, because I think you need to either change it all or leave it all the same. That's just my personal preference. And the other piece that I would say to you all is, no disrespect to the submitters, but I'm not sure the delineation of the committees in the way that you've done is necessary to be in the Constitution. I think it could be delineated and much more flexible in the standing rules. We have, because the example that we gave was a university committee, which is not a WSG committee, right? And so there's some things that you can't call a committee a standing committee of student government if someone else has called it and we're just a member of it. So just something to think about as you evaluate the question. Either way, you know, whatever you choose is fine. I'm just saying two things to think about.
Any other questions? Once, twice. Sina.
On 3, this is Article 6. Basically just striking it all and whole new Article 6. Just because this kind of sucks, I'll be honest. And it's not a very good supremacy clause if you read the U.S. Constitution. So if you're going to wrote it as this. And then the exact question is, should this be replaced with this?
Any questions?
I could read them all out, but it's just a lot of words. And I don't think
Could you read this one out? I think it's valid.
in the event of a conflict between governing documents or procedural authorities, the following hierarchy shall apply. Federal law, state law, local ordinances, university policy, the WSG Constitution, WSG standing rules, Senate legislation, and other WSG documents. If any matters not addressed by these defaulting to the current edition of Robert's Rules of Order newly revised. All WSG actions, decisions, and interpretations must adhere to this hierarchy, and no governing document, legislation, or policy may override a higher authority in this order.
Any questions? Once, twice. Senator Cobb?
just to clarify, it says the rules, it says the hierarchy of rules, then Robert's Rules of Order covers anything not covered? Is this what that's trying to say? Just trying to clarify what
Yes.
Robert's Rules is?
Yep. So if it's not any of that, and it's like, I yield to the parliamentarian on like something that's not in these, but would be in Robert's Rules of Order. But it's essentially like that, right?
There's plenty of stuff that goes the other direction too.
Yeah.
So like times in which our WSG standard rules change what Robert's Rules of Order says. Unless we move it. Advise vote.
I guess it's a question and a statement. I don't know which one you want first. It's about the word ordinance, right? Our campus does not have ordinances, right? We have policies, procedures, practices, all sorts of things. City ordinances don't necessarily apply to a state-owned piece of property. So for example, our office does fireworks. We don't have to get a firework permit from the city, even though it's required by ordinance, because we're a state institution. So I mean, I understand it was very encompassing. It's an excellent list, but most ordinances don't apply to you if it's work you're doing on campus.
I think when I showed it to you, it just said law.
Yeah.
But then CRC wanted it to be more like laid out of what
Specific.
specific. So
Yeah, it
that's
was broken into federal, state.
It's local law.
that's
Okay.
I yield to them. I don't know what you're doing.
It's okay. I'm not picking on you.
This is a comment / question to Advisor Bilgan. Would it be implied in, since we're just dictating like these supersede, would it be implied that only the ones applied to us would supersede our standing rules, or?
I think that's one method of interpretation. I tend to not want y'all to feel like you have to follow rules that you don't have influence in them being established. You could say, to me, I could say the same thing about some university policy you don't have a say over either, but you're subject to them because you're the student government of the institution, right? So I think, I mean, I'm not suggesting that you change it. I just think it's something that most of the ordinances in the city of Whitewater don't apply. And I've been sitting here trying to come up with one that would apply, but I think ordinances versus the word local are interchangeable.
Any other questions? Once, twice, seeing none?
And then the last one here is pretty straightforward. It's just the date of effect, so when the Constitution is in effect. Previously, it was in effect upon the approval of the UW restructure by the Higher Learning Commission. Or I guess currently it is that way. For some context, I believe that was changed when it would have been Brian Thomas at the time, who was the director of restructuring, when all of the two-year campuses of the UW system were merged.
Yeah, that's not the word they like to use, but yeah, that we're expanded. Whitewater was expanded to include Rock. We'll say it that way, yeah.
So a bunch of changes were made pending the approval of that approval, I guess, of that restructuring. So this could be interpreted as none of our changes can go through until the Higher Learning Commission approves it, which I don't think we should be subject to for our governing documents. So basically this changes it to upon passage of the binding referendum by the student body of the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater. So that's the final step, the student body approves it. And then the exact question wording is, should Article 8, which currently reads this, be amended to read this?
Sorry, it's scroll down for
I think that's what's pretty simple. But any questions on this one?
Any questions?
Mr. Speaker, I yield.
Outstanding. So the way we're going to run this is the Constitution dictates that we have to vote on each one independently. So we'll start with, if we would, I'll flip that over to question 1. We'll start with discussion. Is there any discussion on question 1? You get.
But, you know, subject to the speaker. Sorry, I didn't.
Any discussion?
I know.
Okay. Once, twice, see none of that, we'll move. All right. Are there any amendments to this one? I'll give you some time to read through it as well. Because we have to vote on the exact wording, I'll give you some time to read through it. Any amendments or wants?
I just have point of information.
Sure.
Are we voting on this tonight or next week?
We are.
Okay.
Wonderful. Going once, going twice. Seeing none, with that, we'll move into a roll call vote on the exact wording of the question. So, give it a read. A vote of aye will be a vote in favor of placing this on the ballot. The exact referendum question. So if you're looking for exactly what you're voting on, it says exact question verdict. A vote of aye will be a vote in favor. A vote of nay will be a vote against. Madam Clerk, when you're ready, would you please call the roll?
Senator Bullock.
Aye.
Senator Carter.
Aye.
Senator Irwin.
Aye.
Senator Esserholm.
Aye.
Senator Gross.
Aye.
Senator Gutzoff.
Aye.
Senator Houston.
Aye.
Senator Calvin.
Aye.
Senator Keebler.
Aye.
Senator Michael.
Aye.
Senator Patricus.
Aye.
Senator Punzel.
Aye.
Senator Purnell.
Aye.
Senator Reber.
Aye.
Senator Schmidt.
Aye.
Speaker Wilson.
Aye. And with that, proposed constitutional referendum question 1 has been approved and ready for placement on the ballot. With that, we'll move into question 2. We'll start with any amendments. I'll give you a moment to read through and see if you have any amendments you'd like to make to question 2. Senator Bolt.
Motion to amend, the committees of WSG to be the committees of, wait, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong spot here. Oh, yeah, no, I am looking at it, no. I rescind my motion. I'm
All right.
something.
Any other amendments? Going once? Going twice? Seeing none, with that, we'll move into discussion. Is there any discussion on the question? Going once? Going twice? Seeing none, with that, we'll move into a roll call vote, exactly the same way we did the last one. Madam Clerk, when you're ready, please call the roll.
Senator Carter.
Aye.
Senator Irwin.
Aye.
Senator Esserholm.
Aye.
Senator Gross.
Aye.
Senator Gutzoff.
Aye.
Senator Houston.
Aye.
Senator Calvin.
Aye.
Senator Keebler.
Aye.
Senator Michael.
Aye.
Senator Patricus.
Aye.
Senator Punzel.
Aye.
Senator Purnell.
Nay.
Senator Reber.
Aye.
Senator Schmidt.
Aye.
Senator Wheaton. Oh, sorry. Speaker Wilson.
Aye.
Senator Bolt.
Aye.
And with that, the second proposed constitutional referendum question has been approved for placement on the ballot. With that, we'll move on to question 3. Are there any amendments to question 3? I'll give you one moment to read it over. Going once. Senator Cobb.
Well, point of information, so just as we kind of clarify, I want to make this certain, there shouldn't be that many, or if any, local ordinances that do affect this, right? I know we kind of had restated this in the previous one, but I just wanted to make sure this is clear.
And you, Chair, or Vice Hogan, or President Brad.
I was going to entertain a motion to replace local ordinances with Universities of Wisconsin policy, as that is a big one missing from the list, as that takes lots of SU funding and whatnot.
Senator Peck.
Oh, actually, never mind.
If I could, Mr. Speaker, I'll just note that if someone, any board member says they entertain a motion, it means that they're asking a senator to make the motion they're entertaining, as they cannot make motions.
Senator Trump.
I move to strike local ordinances from here and replace it with University of Wisconsin policies.
Can I get a second? Second by Senator Cobb. Wonderful. Just so we understand how the amendment process will work, on constitutional questions. I think it's in the spirit of our Constitution to have any amended, basically anything amended by our body, have a 2-week process. I yield to the parliamentarian as to what he thinks.
Yeah, so the actual constitution process in terms of its time in the Senate is rather vague in terms of what we as a body can do. It does not specify any sort of amendment process or what time frame that takes. I will say though that if it is the common understanding that if something is changed, senators need to be provided with at least a day to review it, which means waiting until the following Senate meeting a week from now to vote on it. So yes, it is in the spirit and I believe the best interest of this body and our constituents to hold off on voting on the question if the amendment passes until the following Senate meeting to provide time to reflect on the change.
Senator Conlon.
Oh, this is more of a point of information, so that would be in 2 weeks when we come back from spring break, we'd bring it.
At the next meeting, yeah. So, I mean, if we saw it fit, maybe we'd call a special session. I don't assume the speaker would see that. With that in mind, we will now we'll take a vote on the amendment. If the amendment were to pass, then we would wait for the process.
I just, discussion on the motion before that, I think this is probably just an oversight by the committee, and I appreciate that a change is being made. I think we should make that change.
Okay. Wonderful. Is there any other discussion on the motion? I'm sorry, do I see none? With that, we'll move into a vote. If the amendment passes, then we'll come back to it next week for voting. If the amendment fails, then we will continue the conversation. And if there are any more amendments, we can move into that. Otherwise, we can still hold votes today. With that, we will move into a vote on the amended language, which changes local ordinances to, what was the exact wording of that motion, Senator Quinn?
University of Wisconsin policies.
University of Wisconsin policies. The vote of aye will be looking.
Universities of Wisconsin policy.
It's the new name.
They
Oh, so that was a clerical error.
Yeah.
Universities of Wisconsin policy. Could you write that down?
They did a rebrand.
All right. All right. Question?
No, that's the 7th. Now, asking a question for the clerk, what is the deadline for constitutional questions to be submitted? And if we go to the 2-week period, will we meet that deadline?
We'll meet the deadline if we go to the 2 period.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I made sure of that.
Perfect.
All right, so you're seeing the revised language, Universities of Wisconsin policy.
Should we?
7 minutes. I think university. Never mind, instead of university policy.
No, that's us.
Right, so it's essentially system policy, campus policy, and constitution standard.
All right, Madam Clerk, when you're ready, would you please call the roll?
Senator Burley?
Aye.
Senator Esselstyn?
Aye.
Senator Gross?
Aye.
Senator Gussoff?
Aye.
Senator Houston?
Aye.
Senator Kelvin?
Aye.
Senator Keeler?
Aye.
Senator Michael?
Aye.
Senator Patrice?
Aye.
Senator Punzel?
Aye.
Senator Brunel?
Aye.
Senator Reber?
Aye.
Senator Schmidt?
Aye.
Speaker Wilson?
Aye.
Senator Wolf?
Aye.
Senator Carter?
Aye. And with that, question 3 of the proposed constitutional amendment referendum question has been approved for placement on the ballot.
Point of order?
Point, yeah.
Oh, the amendment, I'm so sorry. The amendment has been approved, and We will move on next week. On to question. Next one. With that, we'll move on to question 4. Open up amendments on question 4. Are there any amendments? Going once, and twice. Seeing none, is there any discussion on question 4? Going once, and twice. Seeing none, with that, we'll move on to a vote on question 4. We'll vote aye as a vote in favor. Madam Clerk, when you're ready, would you please call the roll?
Senator Estimel,
I said aye.
Senator Gross,
Aye.
Senator Dutzloff,
Aye.
Senator Houston,
Aye.
Senator Pelley,
Aye.
Senator Keebler,
Aye.
Senator Michael,
Aye.
Senator Triguis,
Aye.
Senator Punzel,
Aye.
Senator Brunel,
Aye.
Senator Reber,
Aye.
Senator Schmidt,
Aye.
Speaker Wilson,
Pass.
Senator Bolt,
Aye.
Senator Carter,
Aye.
Senator Irwin,
Aye.
Speaker Wilson,
Aye. And with that, question 4. Constitutional amendment referendum question has been approved unanimously for the ballot. Wonderful. Great job, folks. With that, we are into announcements. Are there any announcements? I'd like to start with mine. There was one thing I missed in my report. I'm so sorry. I sent an email to the advisor of SGA today, so that we can get a meeting on their calendar. We're doing some work with them in terms of making sure we can get over there, but also talk about other policies and whatnot. So I think it's important that we get over there as quick as possible. If you have any questions on that, feel free to come chat with me after the meeting. Director Riser.
Academic Affairs, Wisconsin City After.
Any other announcements? Any other announcements? Director Schmidt.
Undergraduate Research Day is this Thursday at 9 a.m. going until 11 p.m. So if you know anyone trying to have a poster in there, you should drop by within that time period.
Senator Puzzle.
Kind of going off what Advisor Billigan said at the very start of the meeting, please look after each other and use mental health resources we have. I don't know if I could live through losing another one of my friends again, and I certainly don't want it to be any of y'all.
Thank you, sir. Deputy Speaker Patrice.
With spring break being next week, just to have fun, take a break. We do have a meeting the Monday after. Let me know if we'll be there.
Wonderful. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Are there any other announcements?
Internal
Director
student
Bowser.
affairs, internal student affairs committee can you please see me afterwards as well.
Any other announcements? Going once, twice. See none. With that, we're on to adjournment. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Senator Houston.
Move to adjourn.
Can I get a second? Seconded by Senator Gross.
Second.
Wonderful. Can I get a voice vote?
Acclamation.
Are there any opposed? Seeing none, we're out here at 8:03.
Good luck to you as well.
I said aye.
No, nobody heard.
said anything.
You went for everybody.
Sorry.
I said aye. And then I looked and nobody did.
Everybody was looking at you, yes.
Look at that. That's crunch. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It was. All the credit.
Not a hill.
I know.
Yeah.
We need to talk.
Yeah, no,
Hey, good job.
I wasn't conscious.
I'm glad you decided to run. I'm really looking forward to working with you. You did a really good job.
Good?
Yeah, you guys are all.
Number 2 in the book.
During mine off.
You want to go downstairs? Oh, yeah, for sure. That doesn't work. So, yes, absolutely. Have a good night.
Thank you.
I'll see you Wednesday.
Where's Isaiah?
He's just talking to somebody right now, but she'll be back over here and.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, but you're tomorrow 8 a.m.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm allowed to throw a sway line.
Yeah, I don't.
Everybody good?